All right, guys, I want to give you an update on the blast gun that I want to produce, and basically I have redesigned it. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about in this video. Okay, so why the redesign? Well, when I posted a video about this, there was some feedback from some of you guys. So one was, well, first of all, I only said that this was a vapor blast gun, no dry blasting with this gun, okay? And some of you said, hey, why can't it dry blast? Okay, so that's issue number one. Issue number two is some of you have said that, hey, I go through a lot of nozzles because I do a lot of blasting. So what's the nozzle cost, or how long will it last and whatnot? So that got me thinking, how long would this nozzle last? And also, how much would it cost to replace it? And it's actually pretty expensive. So I don't think you'd be too happy with buying an expensive gun and then over the life of the gun, buying expensive nozzles for it would be not ideal, right? So that's those two reasons are for the redesign. So this gun here can wet blast and dry blast, and the nozzle is very inexpensive. Okay, so let me talk about how I got to this nozzle here. All right, so I was gonna make this out of hardened stainless or whatever, and for fine media vapor blasting it'd probably be fine, okay? But for dry blasting and aggressive media, and if you're doing this day in and day out, you're gonna go through some nozzles, okay? So anyway, I tried to contact two nozzle manufacturers here in the US on will they make this out of boron carbide, okay? So they took a look at the print and they said, yeah, in order to make a custom nozzle, it costs about $2,000 to make the mold and to even turn on their furnace. And then each part would be $200 off that run. Okay, so that's crazy expensive. And he's like, you know what? Why don't you look at my catalog and see what I have and see if something will work for you, okay? And then I also contacted another company who has a large catalog of off-the-shelf nozzles, and I viewed through those as well, and I ordered a bunch up, and I wanted to see what would work, and I came across this one. Okay, so let's go over to the workbench. Let me show you what I got, and let me know what you think. And just so you know, these two guns are comparable in performance. In fact, this one probably works a little bit better because of something I'll explain at the workbench. Okay, so this is where we're at, and this is the first gun. Everything about this gun was custom. The nozzle, this, everything. So when you do custom stuff, it gets a little expensive, right? So anyway, here's this gun, and let me talk about this nozzle here. All right, this is a ceramic nozzle, and it costs under $10. It's like $8 or something. It's available in 3 sizes that we're going to use, or that I'm going to use in this gun. You got your 5 horse, 7.5 horse, 10 horse, okay? This nozzle is also available in tungsten carbide. The cost for that, like about $120, okay? But that's certainly an option if you want more wear or longer, the amount of hours you can actually run the nozzle before it's worn out, okay? So that's an option. I don't have any here, but I think for most people, they will be happy with just buying $8 nozzles, okay? And if it wears out, big deal. You slap another $8 nozzle in there and away you go, right? Now, let me back up for a second. Prior to selecting this nozzle, I did a whole bunch of testing with nozzles in this gun, okay? So you see all kinds of nozzles here, and the exterior is whatever, just to get it to fit in this gun. But each of these nozzles has different geometry, and I studied what they all did. So I was messing around with bore diameter, bore length, the secret sauce geometry in there, and what I found is that, yes, the entry is important, but also the bore length, okay? You need a certain minimum amount of bore length in order for this to blast correctly, okay? This gun here, it doesn't have enough bore length, okay? It's pretty short, so that's why it's like a shotgun spray. That's one issue with that gun. This guy here, very long nozzle. Okay, the entry is like 1 1/4 long, and then the rest is straight. Okay, and this thing just works freaking great. Also, what works nice about this nozzle is it doesn't generate a lot of back pressure like some other nozzles I have tested. So what that means is you can run a bigger air jet, smaller nozzle, and that equates to faster velocity out of the gun, because that's basically what the gun is doing. It's accelerating the media, okay? So that's a huge plus. Also, this is tapered. I really wanted a tapered nozzle because you can see what you're doing. You can see your work. You can see your progress. And that, to me, is a big deal, because then you are more efficient, okay? Whereas having a big, bulky end like this guy here. Okay? I know I'm all over the place here, but also, just so you know, an American-made boron carbide nozzle that is like 2 inches in length can be anywhere from $80 to $150 just for the nozzle. Okay? And then you got to have all the other gun parts. Okay? So, this gun did get a little bit bigger, but it's still not too bad. And I think it turned out nice. It comes, you can hold it two ways. You can hold it back here, which is pretty comfortable. And then also right here, you got this lip. You can grab it like this, and it's pretty comfortable. So that's pretty nice. One other change I made is this fitting. I used to have a custom fitting here. You know, obviously more expensive if you do custom because it's low volume. This here is now a standard thread and a standard fitting that you can find at the hardware store. Okay? So this fitting is like $5 or $6 or something like that. This is a 3/4, and it's also available in 5/8 and 1/2 inch for you guys that are adapting it to a dry blast cabinet. Some dry blast cabinets are going to be one of these. Okay, for vapor blast, you're going to want to go with 3/4 here, 1/2 inch on the air. So let's go ahead and take this apart. It's 7/8 hex on both these parts here. This will be made out of brass. Okay, this is your air jet. This is a brass fitting, of course, here. Okay, in order to take off the nozzle, you just loosen this nut. It's a tapered fit, so you just gotta pop it to get the wedging action off. Okay, here's the nut. This is gonna be made out of machined plastic, and it's mainly for weight because these nozzles do weigh a little bit, and I'm trying to keep the weight off the front end here. So if I made that out of brass, it'd be pretty heavy. So machined plastic there. You got this guy here. There's an O-ring in here for sealing. Okay, so that just pops in like that. This will be a machined aluminum part that will be anodized. Color to be determined. But that's that. Okay, so these jets are going to be available in 3 different sizes. The nozzles will be available in 3 different sizes. And the only thing that you need to change to go to dry blast is you need to put a rubber sleeve over the air jet. Okay, and the reason for that is the dry media, as it comes up here, it'll pit this guy away. It'll actually damage it over time because you're hitting it with dry media, and that's pretty aggressive, or more aggressive than just water slurry that's moving through here. The slurry will not affect this at all because the water acts as a lubricant, as a cushion. Okay, so you got the sleeve that's needed, and then of course whatever fitting you need to adapt it to your cabinet. Okay, now I think I'm just going to include this with one fitting, the 3/4, and then it'll be up to you. I'll probably sell these separately on the site. I don't think I'm going to include all 3 because, again, some people aren't going to need it. It'll come with a rubber sleeve and so forth. And I will also have the nozzles available separately on my website, so you can order replacements if they wear out. Let me know if I should sell these individually or should I wrap it up into like a 3-pack or something. Let me know on how you guys want me to list that. So there's that. And just so you know, the replacement nozzle for the Tacoma is about $15. So you can actually get 2 of these nozzles for the price of this guy, pretty much. Okay, so you're probably wondering, is this thing going to get any cheaper? Well, some things were reduced in cost. However, the body got a lot more expensive. It started with a bigger block of aluminum, more machine time. I think they have to flip it once or more, twice or whatever, and as a result, the body did get more expensive. However, what I was after is to reduce the operating cost for the life of the gun, right? You need a new nozzle. It's $8. Okay, that is very inexpensive. I think that is good. And then of course, if you ever lose this fitting for whatever reason, or you want a new one, they're $5 or $6. So that's what I was after. Okay. As far as the size, obviously it's a little bit bigger than this gun. It's still a lot smaller than this one right here, and you know this is really bulky right here. So it's smaller than that guy. And here's the Tacoma gun, and again, it's pretty much, you know, a little bit longer, but overall, it's a good size. It's ergonomic. I really like how it came out, and it solves the two issues that came up based on your feedback. So I really appreciate the feedback from you guys. Okay, one more thing about these nozzles. They have been in production for a very long time, and also they plan on producing this for a long time as well. So that means this is going to be around as a replacement for a long time, okay? There's no end of life for this thing or anything like that, so that is also really good news. They stock these by the thousands, okay? So that is one more thing I had to consider, so that's also good. And one more thing, let's say you have a gun set up in the 5 horsepower with 5 horsepower components, meaning the air jet and the nozzle. You can swap the nozzle from 5 horse to 7.5 horse. And what that does is it's a larger opening in the nozzle, right? You get more slurry out, however, at a slower velocity. So that works well after you've done like a lot of cutting and removing junk and you want to polish, okay? The slow velocity of media is what you need for a polishing action, okay? So sometimes that's beneficial because what that allows you to do is to keep your air pressure high at 60 psi, your CFM up, which equates to power, but you're processing it faster, okay? So that's awesome too. I will demo that at a later time, but I just wanted to give you that info. Okay, so we'll do a quick demo. I'm not gonna do a very detailed demo. I do have some footage from all the testing that I've done with this new design gun, so I'll just roll that in. And you can see that it's very comparable to the last version. It works really good. I'm really happy with it. And that is one reason why you saw me convert this to dry. I had to get a dry blast cabinet set up so that way I can do some dry blast testing now that this gun can do both dry and wet. So let me just roll that footage. Okay, and real quick, for those of you that have pre-ordered, thank you. I received just over 20 to 25 US pre-orders. Those of you outside of the US, my website and my system is not set up to calculate shipping, and I don't want it to over or underestimate you. So for those outside the US, I just have you down on a notebook that you're interested, okay? So anyway, I mentioned that I need like 30 people interested in order to make a batch of 50 or whatever. Well, we're there. So it's going to happen assuming you like these changes, okay? And I think you will. So thank you for the pre-orders. Thank you for putting your trust and faith into a plastic toy at this point. And I will get the site up and running to calculate shipping and do international shipping and all that, but I will probably do that after the parts are ordered, because then I got 3 to 5 weeks of downtime while I wait for these parts, okay? So here's the timeline moving forward, okay? After I upload this video, I'm going to give it a few days. People might cancel their pre-orders. I expect more pre-orders to come in now that it can dry blast and something's more solid with this design. So then I'll take all the quantities and then I'll place an order, okay? And while the vendors are making the parts, I'm going to work on the website and set up a store and a cart and a shipping estimator and all that good stuff so you guys outside the US can order as well, okay?